Hey guys, I'm Becky from Book Bite Reviews, and today I'm talking about what is on my TBR for the Novice Path to the Orilium Academy Magical Readathon. That is right, guys. The Magical Readathon by Book Roast is back, and I am beyond excited. So for those who maybe have not heard of the Magical Readathon before, there is an amazing booktuber named G from Book Roast who has created this Magical Readathon. It would take place at least twice a year, and it was all centered around the world of Harry Potter, the Wizarding World. It took place at Hogwarts. There was a Owls in April and the Newts in August or September, and it would be your path to finding out what your magical wizarding career would be after graduating Hogwarts. However, G and the rest of the people who participate in the Magical Readathon decided that they didn't feel comfortable anymore doing Harry Potter related things because of the awful things that J.K. Rowling has said. So G has put it upon herself to figure out how to do the Magical Readathon without it being Harry Potter, but still keeping all the things that we love about it. So what she has created is this brand new magical world with its own provinces / continents, with its own races of people, with this magical academy, and it's completely insane. I will have her announcement video linked down below, so please check it out because she will do a much better job at explaining this readathon than I will. I'm just going to try and give you a brief introduction to it and my TBR. So since this is the first time that we are in this new magical world, and there's all of this stuff, like I have a whole folder of documents that I printed out for this because she has created all these things to figure out, you know, what it's like at all the different continents and the different types of people and the history behind this world, and it's just nuts. So in order to kind of understand and not go in so blind when we go through our like normal choosing a career path, she has created this intro to the world readathon. The readathon is happening from September 1st to September 30th, and in that time frame, you are to make your way to the Orilium Academy, and on your journey, you will learn more about this world so that when it's time to actually go to the academy, it makes total sense of why you're there. Now, there are two things to accomplish. Number one, your path to getting to the school. You have to prove yourself worthy in order to be accepted into the school. And number two, you have to build your own character. So this readathon is very like if Harry Potter met A Court of Thorns and Roses and also met Dungeons and Dragons. I'm trying to do this as simple yet as complex as I can. So let's get into the TBR. So first let's talk about the path to the Orilium Academy. G has created this beautiful map and these amazing prompts. You have to finish at least 2 out of the 7. However, I am going to try to complete all 7 and in the order that is on the map, because that just makes sense to my brain. So this portion has to be completed between September 1st and September 30th. So the very first stop on our map is the Novice Path entrance. The prompt for this is to read a book with a map. So I will be reading Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. I was supposed to read this month, which is August. It's not going to happen. So I've decided to just push it and include it in the September Magical Readathon. This is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series. I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about it because, you know, spoilers, but there is a map. The next stop is Ashtorn Tree, and the prompt is to read a book that has been tempting you or is at the top of your TBR. For this, we have a little bit of a dilemma. So I'm in a historical romance book club on Instagram, and we haven't yet chosen our book for the month, but I know that there will be a book chosen. I would like to try to fit that book in so it's not an additional book that I need to try to read this month. So that's what I'm going to use for this prompt, because while it's not technically the top of my TBR, because I don't even know what the book is yet, it will be near the top of my TBR for the month. So we're just going to slot it in. If I end up not liking it or not wanting to read that book or whatever, then I will substitute it with something else. But right now that's the plan, this magical historical romance. Next is The Mist of Solitude, and that is to read a standalone. For that, I'm going to be reading this month's book club pick for the book club that I run at the library I work at, and that is You Have a Match by Emma Lord. This book, I'm excited to read. Not only is it small, I've got some pretty big books on this TBR, but it sounds really interesting. I read Tweet Cute by this author and absolutely loved it. So this one is very different from Tweet Cute. This book is about a girl who ends up taking a DNA test, and she ends up finding out that she has an older sister. And instead of confronting her parents of, how do I have this older sister, she decides to find the girl online. And it turns out that she goes to this summer camp that her friend works at. So she's going to go to summer camp and meet this girl. Very interesting, very excited. Next is Ruin of the Sky, and this prompt is to read a book that has ghosts or a haunted house or some sort of paranormal element. For this prompt, I'm going to be reading Lair of Dreams by Liva Bray. This is book 2 in the Diviner series. It is very big. I'm a little nervous, but we're going to try our best. This book is very paranormal, very spooky and creepy. The premise of this book is that we are going to have some diviners who can jump into people's dreams, and they have to in order to track down a murderer who is killing people in their sleep, kind of like Freddy Krueger style, but yet 1920s. Spooky. Next is Obsidian Falls, and the prompt is to read a mystery or thriller. For this, I'm going to be reading Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. I am so excited to read this. Tiffany D. Jackson has quickly become one of my all-time favorite YA authors, especially for thrillers. She writes them so well, they're so addictive, and even though this is a little bit of a bigger book, I think it's just under 400 pages. I know that I'm going to quickly fly through this and also listen to the audiobook because all of her audios have been amazing. This book is about a girl who gets the attention of a famous R&B singer. She is also a singer, and he kind of like discovers her, takes her under his wing, and helps her to find her fame. But the book starts out with he is dead and no one knows who killed him, and our main character is the suspect. Now, what's very interesting about this book is while that is like already really intriguing and cool, there is a sinister side to this relationship. He is much older than her. He is very controlling of her, and it's kind of been described to me as like a Beyonce Jay-Z situation meets R. Kelly. So that sounds amazing, and already I know that there has not yet been a book by this author that I haven't loved, so bring it on. Next is Tower of Rumination, and the prompt is to read a book that is a 5-star prediction. Now for me, this is a bit difficult. I'm trying to be a little bit choosier with my 5 stars, but when I heard of this book and got my hands on it, I knew, well, I hope that this is going to be a 5-star read, and that is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. This is the Bookish Box edition. I don't really know if it's very different from the original, so in case it does look different, that is why. The Bookish Box is actually doing a read-along for this book during the month of September, which is excellent because I have been dying to read this book ever since I heard of it. This book is A Court of Thorns and Roses meets The Cruel Prince, and the main character is kind of like Feyre, Nesta, and Jude all combined. It sounds amazing and excellent. It's a girl who hates fairies but has to go to the fairy world to save her sister, and throughout trying to collect these magical objects in order to get her sister back, she comes across these 2 fairy men who are both dangerous yet alluring, and there's this love triangle. So I am excited. It's an enemies to lovers. Sign me up. Like, everything about this book is like, this is going to be amazing and 5 stars. And the last stop on my path to Orilium is the Orilium Academy arc. It's the entrance to the school. And for this, you are to read a book that takes place in a school setting. Now, I'm so excited that this book fits. Last night, I was like rearranging my TBR because I had some things on it that I wasn't really excited about. And I know from previous experience, even though I want to read those books, if I'm not excited for them, I'm not going to get to them. So while I was rearranging, this book was already on my TBR regardless, but I'm so excited to learn that it actually fits for this prompt. And that is Any Way the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell. They are going back to Watford, which means that this book is taking place in a school setting. So I don't think they're going back to Watford as students because they've graduated, but they will be going back to Watford and, you know, basically closing the chapter of the series. It's the last book in the Simon Snow series. So I'm so excited, but also so sad, and I just feel like this is the perfect book to end my journey on and be accepted in this school. So I'm very excited. So now, those books alone, I have to read at least 2 of them. I'm going to try to read all of them, though, and that is my path to getting into the school. So now let's talk about my character. The character portion can be done anytime from September 1st until March 31st of 2022, as long as you have your character completed by the time that the next portion, the official start, the Orilium Academy portion of this readathon begins, then you're good. However, as a bonus challenge, it's to get it all done in September. So I am going for gold. We're going to try to get this all done in September, which means 10 books. It can happen. I've had months where I've read 15 books. In the past at Magical Readathons, I always push myself and end up reading somewhere between like 10 and 15 books. So it can happen. But the last 2 months I've only read 7 books. So we'll see what happens. So the first thing you have to decide is your background. Is your character a wildling, or is your character from the city, an urban setting? I've decided that my character is going to be urban, and the prompt for that is to read a book that takes place in a city or town. So for that, I am going to read Stone Cold Touch by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is book 2 in the White Hot Kiss series. This book takes place in a city. And it's a city that is inhabited by humans. However, there are gargoyle guardians who are protecting the city from demons. And our main character is half gargoyle, half demon, and she has been raised by gargoyles. So basically her whole life, she's been taught that there's this half of her that is really evil. And it's kind of like her coming to terms with what she is, her powers, and also who she loves. So I have been meaning to finish this series for years, and now it's time to at least read book 2. Next, you have to figure out what province your character is from. There are 4 different provinces, and they each have their own characteristics. The type of people who live there, the way that the life is like, the way that things grow there, what it looks like, you know, just like in real life, each state, province, country is very, very different. So out of the 4, I have chosen Karud. From what I'm kind of understanding that this world is like, is basically New York City if it was also like shrouded in purple gemstone, like an amethyst gemstone, basically. So it's gorgeous. It has not only a very exciting daytime life, but also a very exciting nighttime life. And things grow here. It's a very happy place. It just sounds like, you know, a very like busy, well-populated, very diverse province. And that like appealed to all of my senses. So the prompt for living or being from Karud is to read a book from an ongoing series. So for that, I am reading Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. This is the bind up of all the short stories from Throne of Glass. So while this is technically book 0.5, I'm following this different way of reading the Throne of Glass series where you read this after book 3. This is technically the book that I would be reading in September, so I really, really want to get it done so that I can try to finish this series by the end of the year like my original goal was for the year. So yes, this is part of an ongoing series. While it's technically like the first book, it's not. And also, it's a series I've already started. So in every way you think about it, this fits for an ongoing series. And last but not least, you have to choose your heritage. So there are many different types of people that live in this world. There are dwarves, earthlings, elves, humans, Iltyrians, and Skamorns. Each one is a very different character. They all have very different characteristics. I have decided to go for an earthling. And these are like humanoid people who have elemental features about them. One thing that is really cool is that they have elemental magic, and when they're born with leopard-like spots, and on their 10th birthday is when they come into their powers, and those spots change to a color depending on what element they possess. So for my character, I have decided to be a fire elemental. What this means is I will have red leopard spots on my skin, flame flickers at the end of my hair, smoldering fingers, and I'm able to summon, smother, and control fire. The other really cool thing, and what also really appealed to me about an Earthling, is that they are very in touch, no matter what element they have, with wildlife. So they are usually known to communicate with animals, and that excites me a lot. So the prompt in order to be a Earthling is to read a book that either features elemental magic or has an element in the title of it. Now, I have taken it a step further, just because it makes the most sense to me. I don't think that G said you have to do it this way, but that's just what makes sense in my brain. I have decided that that book needs to be what element I am going to be. So since I'm going to be a fire elemental Earthling, I need to read a book that either features fire elemental magic or has fire in the title. And I have chosen a book that has both. That is book 2 in the Graceling series, which is Fire by Kristen Kishore. Not only does it have the word in the title, but it's about a girl who has fire elemental magic. That's amazing. Totally fits this prompt. It was like it was meant to be, and I'm very excited to continue on with the series. Like I said, this is book 2 in the Graceling series. I would try to explain the series, but I feel like it's very hard to explain. It's a magical world. People have to save them from an evil king, and there is elemental magic, is the best way I can tell you. So guys, that is my TBR. Wish me luck. I am very, very excited for all these books, so I think it's going to happen. What really just needs to happen is I need to read every single day. I need to start reading at midnight on the 1st. I think it's going to happen. I always push myself for these readathons, but it's going to happen. So now for the extra exciting part for me, I want to know if any of you guys are participating. Are you trying to read all of the books? What have you chosen for your character so far? Are you trying to get it all done in September? Leave a comment below. I would love to cheer each other on, follow each other, etc. There is a Discord for this readathon. I don't understand Discord. Discord happened for the generation before mine. Well, maybe not the generation, but for those who were born in like the 80s, Discord was a thing for them, and then Discord is a thing for Gen Z. But my millennial self is like too old yet too young to understand Discord. So I'm gonna try to understand it so that way I can be a part of the community and talk to people. So try to find me there. Otherwise, find me on Instagram and we can talk there. I will also be doing weekly reading vlogs for this readathon. I'm very excited about it. The only books that will have their own separate reading vlog is the 2 Sarah J. Maas books, because I am doing spoiler-filled vlogs for all of those. I'm so excited. I want to start early, but I can't. So it's all going to work out. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Don't forget, if you enjoyed it, to please give it a thumbs up. Keep reading, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys!